Hey guys, thank you for joining me. I am making a very short video here about the current masculine, feminine energies that are around us. This is a bit of an interesting spread. I actually pulled these cards a couple of days ago. I didn't have time to do the reading then, but I also wanted to have a little think about what the messages were because they kind of confused me a little bit when I first saw them. Let me explain how the spread works. For those of you that don't know, I call it the treble cross spread. I should probably change that to the Nadi spread or something, because Nadis are energy channels in yogic philosophy, and the three main ones are the Ida, which is on the left side of our body, it's the feminine channel. The Pingala, which is on the right side, starts on the right side of our body, it's the masculine channel. And the Sushumna, which is the central channel, which runs through the center of our spine. Not literally, it's the energetic body that it runs through, and that's where you find the seven main energy chakras, energy confluences in our bodies. It's interesting that that's where the chakra cards actually came up on the spread as well. So let me explain how the spread works. On the bottom row here, it's where the energies were. In the middle, it's where they are right now, and at the top it's where they're likely heading. For the masculine and for the feminine, these are advice cards. So that's how it works. Really interesting spread, because the underlying energies are all about finding balance, and I got the very specific feeling that there are messages in this spread for the microcosm as well as the macrocosm. So what's going on with our own individual lives and individual relationships, twin flame unions and whatnot, and also what's going on in greater society. And this doesn't apply just to twin flames, it applies to all of humanity at the moment. And there is a need to find balance, and the energies are in fact finding balance. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the masculine. I'm going to talk about the macrocosm. I'm going to talk about everything that's going on. There is a lot of imbalance, and the whole world being led, especially by America, actually, because a lot of energies are going around at the moment astrologically. There's a solar eclipse that's going to happen in the sign of Leo, and it's going to happen on the 21st of the month, so in a few days' time, and the brunt of that is going to be felt by America. And I've been saying for ages, this solar eclipse is going to be very massive for the masculine energy. The sun is essentially a masculine energy, that it's represented by the Pingala channel, which is also energy channel, which is also the solar channel. It's the active, they call it the masculine channel, and the feminine is the lunar channel, so it's more aligned with the moon, and it's receptive, and it's the feminine channel. So because this is going to be the start of a major sun cycle, it's very important for the masculine, for men, and for masculine ruled aspects of life and careers, because certain careers in politics, for example, is very male dominated. The military is very male dominated. Big business is very male dominated. In fact, most of the aspects of our everyday lives are controlled by very masculine energies. Finance, for example, the banking system, corporations, these are all really masculine, and they're going to get shaken up. There is an imbalance right now. They're all connected, and we've got a very interesting head of state in America. The political situation is kind of, there are a lot of things bubbling under, and it's nothing to be afraid of. There are even these horrible riots and stuff that are happening. They're just a reflection of things that are going on and that have been bubbling under for a very long time in society, and they're coming to the surface, and it's your chance to kind of see them, acknowledge them, and deal with them, and that's what's kind of happening. So the masculine energies right now are kind of coming from a place of fear, coming from a place of not really knowing what to do, feeling helpless and hopeless, feeling alone. And this actually came up upside down. They're feeling alone, and essentially they kind of don't know what they're doing. They're kind of a little bit like it's the blind leading the blind. They're just doing things, they're acting, but they don't really know what they're doing, which is reflected by they're trying to do something in this lead card, which is signifying the present situation, but they're not really doing anything that's particularly productive. This card here is the heal card, and if you can see, it's upside down. It's the protest, whatever's going on right now, it's not really helping to make the situation better. It's actually aggravating it quite a lot. It's almost like you've got a cut and you're pulling it apart, you're just poking it and prodding it and aggravating it even more. You're not actually helping the thing get better and strengthen, because you know, when things heal, scar tissue is actually stronger, so you know where the weaknesses are and you can kind of make them better. That's the potential that we have right now. But if things are left to carry on being this imbalanced, as in if you let the kind of the male energies, which have a tendency to just do, it's going to tip the balance in a bad way. So, but don't worry about it, because the way that the union energies are moving, it's happening in a very natural progression. So this is all supposed to happen. It's also reflected in this awaiting results card, which is almost like it's meant to happen like this. It's all part of the karma, it's all part of the plan right now, and that's how the balance is going to be achieved. It's by showing the fact that there is an imbalance right now. So it's actually possible for this card to be turned upside down. How is that going to happen? If we look at these cards over here, the feminine cards, let's look at the advice cards. It's take the lead, it's move. The feminine is going into trust from a place of, they strengthened, they had to get a little bit stronger, and then they got to where they are right now, which is kind of seek the truth. And what this is meaning for many women especially, not just feminine energies, but women, they're really finding, they're looking within and they're seeing what they can do. They're finding their own power, they're finding their own identity, and seeing how they fit into the situation from this new level that they've kind of come to. Because we as women, we haven't had this level of power in the workplace and influence for a really long time. Women weren't really in the workplace until, you know, in the West, until, you know, World War II, because all the men were essentially in England, they were all dead because of the war. So they needed women to go into the workforce, and ever since then we've been trying to kind of claw some form of power and equality. And on the surface, even though there are laws and stuff now to help us get there, it's not always that easy. But I can definitely say that in the years that I've been working, I have always been working pretty much always in really, really male dominated industries. I was in journalism, I was in 24-hour news for more than 10 years, a really long time. And then I was teaching for a bit. I didn't really find that was a very male dominated profession at all, but journalism, especially the sports newsroom where I was definitely very male dominated. And also finance, I've also worked in finance, and those are all industries definitely very, very male dominated. But I have seen massive changes in the time that I have been working. I remember when I started in the newsroom, I was pretty much one of the only females in the entire team of about 50 people that worked in production. Now half the people that they hire are female, if not most of the new hires are actually female. So there's definitely progress being made, and the balance is being tipped. But right now, it's women are really finding out how to use their feminine essence, their real kind of the way that they handle problems. They don't have to do it in the set way, which is the masculine way. They can do it in their own way, and that's where the balance is being restored. That's where the change is coming from. So if you don't like what's going on, if you're not coming from a place of fear or a place of judgment or a place of anger or hatred or something like that, think about what you can do. Or if you are feeling that you're coming from any of those places, take a step back and think, hang on a minute, what can I do that's different? How can I approach this in a better way? And I'm definitely being guided to say at this moment, it's all about soft power. It's all about using your emotions, coming from your heart. The seat of emotions is the heart. Coming from your heart and thinking, how can we accept things? How can we kind of, instead of coming from your mind and being like a sword and cleaving everything and separating, it's about coming from your heart, being like water and accepting everything, enveloping everything. And that's where the change is going to happen, because ultimately that's all everyone wants, is acceptance. So how are we going to do that? That's really how we can turn this into this. This being a metaphor for kind of the current state of society. It's very much tipped in one direction. It's not a right direction or a wrong direction. It's just there's been a imbalance which is needing to be addressed. And also I wanted to say the energy that I'm really feeling is very, very available to all of us right now, is the energy of Jesus, who to me has always embodied this kind of soft power approach. And let's not forget, you know, be like water. Water created the Grand Canyon. It cleaved through rock in a very spectacular fashion, so it can happen. It might take a little bit longer because the emotions follow the mind, so you need to change your thinking first, but don't feel like the emotions can't make a huge difference, because they can. So really come from the heart, come from those really feminine. Think about what makes a mother powerful. One of the most powerful figures in your life is going to be your mother. And what does the mother symbolize? Unconditional love, caring. Even if the child is kind of a little bit wayward or does something wrong, they do something about it, but they do it lovingly. They don't do it to punish them just for the sake of punishing them. So these are all the things that we need to look at right now. In terms of the microcosm, now I'm going to start talking about twin flames and the individual kind of twin flame unions that are happening right now. The masculine is in a place of, I want to say, they want to take the lead. They really want to be the ones. And I've always said this, the masculine energy is by nature, by its very nature, the one that is the hunter, the one that goes out there and does stuff, gets stuff done. It's active. It's the active principle. It wants to achieve things and it wants to be the doer. The feminine is the more receptive. And I've always said it's the masculine that is going to eventually, when real final union kind of happens, for many people, not for everyone, but for many people, it's going to be the masculine that has to approach the feminine, because it's almost like the order of things that was arranged beforehand. Because things, you know, everything happens in a certain order in life, in the universe. It's not chaos. There is a system. So the more aligned that we can be with it, the better. So the more, that's why when the feminine was chasing, it kind of repelled the masculine a lot. So they're coming into a place where they were feeling like the hanged man. They were in a state of repose. They were kind of not able to act because of various reasons. They just didn't feel like they had, the time was right. They weren't ready to do it. Now they're at a stage where they are ready to take the lead. They want to, at the very least. They're feeling alone. They are awaiting results. So this is a sign of karma. So it's all to do with divine timing, what happens right now. But they are feeling lonely. And it's really interesting that the feeling alone, the feeling helpless and hopeless, this is a very isolated card. And they've got, you know, they're facing away. They're facing the sun and they're facing the moon. So, and again, can you see how here there are references to this? This is like a sun behind him with all these rays coming out. This is like a moon, but they're halos as well. And it's just symbolic of the eclipse energies and how this is going to really affect the crown chakra of the masculines especially, and also the masculine energies of the feminine, and just everyone basically. But it's beautiful how it's all reflected in the cards. So what's going to happen, just bear in mind, I'll come back to these later, but bear in mind how feeling alone, helpless and hopeless, these are advice cards. And how this works is that the advice cards kind of are how actions or circumstances can actually help the union. And it's, remember that this card was actually upside down, so maybe what I'm getting is in terms of the microcosm unions readings, it's not actually a reversal. It doesn't really matter. In fact, the reversal actually acts as just as a highlight, just to highlight the fact that there is going to be a massive movement of energy, which is going to result in chains being broken for the masculine, and a newfound sense of freedom, in the sense that whatever was holding them back before, they're going to break. Those chains are going to break. Whatever was making them feel like the hanged man, where they could just sit back and watch what was happening and almost be like the passive principle. They're no longer going to be the hanged man. They're going to be the emperor. They're going to be the one that takes control a lot more and gets stuff done. So there is going to be an element of healing and creation for them, but I'll come back to that. I'll come back to these advice cards and what helps them actually take action and find their own power and realize their own power, because that's what's happened to this guy. And look how he finds the strength from his heart. What's going on in the union energies? Let's quickly go here. This is basically the base chakra card. This is daydreams and decisions. And if, for those of you who've been following me for a while, you will know that I have spoken about manifesting various things. Like, we will do it all the time. So those of you who chose the union, who chose whatever decisions that you made in the past, they've actually been grounded into reality and they are actually manifesting. They are currently growing. That's what this signifies. And in terms of the movement of energy, action is going to get taken very, very soon. And I always say, people are on slightly different timelines, but when this solar plexus energy, when you really hit that solar plexus energy, that's when you really see the movement. That's when a lot of the unions are going to start happening, the real kind of communications and everything else. So right now we've got the red for the base chakra, we've got the orange for the solar plexus chakra, you've got, this is the lovers, this is at the absolute heart, the core, the axis of this reading is the lovers card, and then we've got the solar plexus card above it. I promise you I did not make this up. This is how they came out the other day. I've just recreated it today because I needed to figure out how to actually explain it in a concise way. I don't want to make this a long reading, but the messages are massive, both for individuals and for society in general. So let's have a quick look at the feminine. Where was the feminine before? The feminine was, just like I mentioned before, strengthening, coming to a new place in life, a new stage. This is kind of signified by this card, which is, cherry blossoms. It's making me think of cherry blossoms, which are a signal of the springtime in many parts of the world, especially Japan, where the cherry blossoms come from. And it's the start of a new phase. And in that new phase, it's like almost like the feminine's being reborn, refinding her power. But in terms of the twin flame union, having got this new strength, having networked, having found like-minded souls, having had their eyes basically open to a brand new dimension. Maybe it was like an awakening. Maybe that could be the awakening. Maybe that could be discovering things to do with spirituality, discovering things about themselves. They now have to think about what they want to do with that. And if you look at this card, I'll bring it up here. If you look at this card, she's kind of got two choices and they're facing opposing ways. And the more the feminine kind of really uncovers things, that are about herself and really examines feelings and thoughts that are coming up for her right now, she might be very, very tempted to walk away from the union. She has to be authentic with herself. If there are any feminines that want to look away and want to date other people, it's okay for them to do it, and it's really important. Now, let me quickly talk about some of the, have a look at the card, really look at it and think about how it speaks to you. I'm going to quickly talk about some of the planetary aspects that are happening right now. There are a lot of retrogrades. Retrogrades are all about reflection. And so we've got Mercury, Uranus and Saturn in retrograde. Mercury is all about communication. Communication is at the heart of all relationships. Saturn is all about karma and past lives, as well as present day karma from our current lives and things that are coming into fruition in the future. It's also the card of success. It's also the card of like soul paths and stuff. And then Uranus, which is about revolution, getting rid of old thinking and old ways that don't work for us anymore, and really shaking things up, being a bit rebellious. It's a power of great. It's a planet of great power as well. Whatever you think about doing, it's all okay, because everything. Look at what's surrounding the card. You've got the infinity symbol to the right. You've got. This is really like, to me, symbolizing divine light. You've got the lovers right here on this side. It's like you're surrounded by the twin flame energy. Whatever you do, it's all okay. It's all gonna strengthen this. You're still gonna stay. It's not possible for you to stray off the path, which is a strange thing to say, because for many people, and like I said, take what resonates with you and definitely leave what doesn't. But can you see how the feeling alone and feeling helpless and hopeless are in the advice positions for the masculine? A lot of them actually want to feel that trigger of the feminine walking away. That's actually what's going to trigger them to actually get into action and take the lead. Do something that they didn't think they were capable of, break those chains and actually empower them and heal them. I hate that word sometimes, but like actually in this instance, it's going to show them, not that it's not going to heal them, but it's going to be what shows them that they're not broken. It's going to be what makes them realize that they do actually have the power to do and go after something that they really want, the thing that they really want the most. But it is actually the feminine that has to take the lead in a respect, because they are the one that have to act. However they act, they can take a step towards the masculine, they can take a step towards another masculine, but either way, they are going to, it's that change in their energy. It's that change in their energy, and that really, another thing that retrogrades do is bring things up so that you can face up to them. So they help you be more authentic, and I'm not saying take action immediately, but really acknowledge all of the thoughts, all of the desires. What is it that you really want? What is it that you want from a relationship? What is it that you want? You know, maybe you think, oh my God, you know, I really want my twin. It's a given. He's just all I want. And that's fine. And maybe you're on the other side and you think, oh, you know what? I can't actually deal with this anymore. All the stuff that's happened, it's just not for me. I can't. It's just there's too much history. I'm going to look elsewhere. The clock is ticking. Whatever. Just know that whatever happens, you will always have your twin's blessing from the higher realms anyway. And as you have the faith to actually follow your own wants and desires and your own heart, your own mind, your own soul plan, because in a way, if you need a tremendous amount of faith and trust to actually turn away from your twin. And if you can understand that, that is the kind of energetic transformation they will feel. And if you do something like that with the intent of them calling you, it's not going to work. You've got to understand that. It's only if you act on whatever is authentic and real for you that it's going to trigger them to do something. So right now it's like that, but know that when you act, and the more authentic you are, the more likely you are to do this. And again, whatever you do, you are surrounded by that energy of the twin flame, that divine light, the divine light, and that power of manifestation, and the power of creation, which again is an archetypically feminine trait, is in your hands. So create whatever you want. And where this is going right now is really, really nice, because you've got trust, and again, you've got her, as well as mirroring the beautiful kind of yellow of the solar plexus chakra, the golden kind of light. She's facing the masculine. So whatever happens, the signs are pointing still towards things will happen, whatever you choose. For those of you who are drawn to this reading, don't worry about it, because it's all to do with the divine plan. I can't tell you what that will be for you exactly, but the more authentic you are with yourself, and the more brave, the better it is for everyone. The better it is for you, the better it is. But in terms of the energy and the messages, the feeling that I'm getting is that everything is tickety-boo. It might not seem like it right now. It might seem, especially if you're more in the masculine energy, if we're all, because don't forget, the media is a very masculine. Most of the top executives that work in that industry are men, and the way that the industry is actually set up is very masculine, and that's what we are projected with right now. Just this kind of, it's very dark, it's very like, that's what most people want to hear with the news anyway, so we are partially responsible for it. And if you want to change it, make the change, make your own news. Go looking for it, go looking for positive stories, go looking for the positive angle, go looking for the good news, and spread it. Talk about that instead of indulging in all the kind of negativity that's going on at the moment. I remember there was a mosque in London that there was a lot of protests, anti-Islamic stuff that was happening, and they called all the protesters around to the mosque to talk about things over tea and biscuits, which I thought was just brilliant. Did they get that much news coverage? No. But people remember it, and it does make a difference. So that would be my advice. And just trust that things are moving exactly how they should, and things are getting into balance. So divine feminines, most of you that watch this are divine feminines, even the masculines that watch it, tap into your divine feminine self, because this is a reflection of all of us, regardless of gender, regardless of whether we identify with one or the other more. Read it in your own way. Listen to what I'm saying in your own way. Make it your own for your own life, because this is a general reading. I hope that you have found it helpful. Thank you for hanging out and listening right until the end. Thank you again for all of your likes, comments, shares, subscribes, everything. I really appreciate it all. I will be back whenever I can with another reading, and until then, lots of love and blessings to all of you. Okay, bye!